Ladies and gentlemen, this is for Gamers.com video. I think it's fair to say that E3 this year is going to be bloody exciting. We've heard a hell of a lot on the PS 4.5, codenamed Neo, and we've done a full analysis of it today, but just as I was wrapping up, I found more rumours, this time from Camp Microsoft. So some of these come from The Verge and others come from other sources, so we're going to go through them one at a time. Quote The Verge, sources familiar with Microsoft's Xbox plans have revealed to The Verge that the company has been testing a variety of prototype Xbox devices. Some of these prototypes have been tested with, and this is to me the most interesting part of this whole sentence, some of these prototypes have been tested with upgraded components used to improve the performance of a PC gaming rig. It's not clear when Microsoft tends to launch the upgraded Xbox One, but according to Phil Spencer, has already hinted the company will come out with new hardware capability during a generation, and that will support existing and future titles. So, just to get everyone up to speed, I'm sure you've heard by now, and this is thanks to NeoGAF, a user by the name of Ikem, that's E-K-I-M, found several filings from the FCC, which are basically the consortium, the government body, who are responsible for monitoring wireless and other communications within the United States. Essentially, you have to pass accreditation there. Now, the Xbox One's wireless chips were sent in, but it hinted that there is a new model of Xbox. Now, since then, some other insiders have started to weigh in, including Paul Thurrott, Brad Sams, and it's quite interesting because what they've all hinted at is that yes, there is another Xbox being worked on. They've said that they don't fully know what Microsoft are planning for the console, but they have a few small pieces of information. One of those is that it's going to be an Xbox Elite type of situation. So what the hell is going to be revealed at this E3? I mean, what I'm hoping is that we get a slimlined Xbox One this year, and we get a new Xbox next year, and that Xbox is going to be fully backwardly compatible. Now, the reason I'm pretty convinced that Microsoft are going to release some new hardware is it doesn't make sense for them not to at this point. The NX is going to be double the performance of the PlayStation 4, that's been pretty much confirmed, with the number of rumours that have been swirling around. The PS4 Neo has been also pretty much confirmed with the massive number of leaks and rumours that are surrounding it at the moment, and it looks like it's an absolute monster. Maybe 2 to 2.5 times the performance of the base unit, especially if you take into account Polaris' various improvements, architecture improvements, massively upgraded CPU. What I'm basically going and saying here is that the Xbox One would be way behind on the curb in terms of performance. So Microsoft have two choices. They can either drastically reduce the price of the Xbox One, or they can release another system. Now, what I'd like for them to do, and I'm not saying they will, is for them to release an Xbox One which is drastically price reduced this year, and then to release another Xbox maybe next year which is considerably more powerful. So, for example, they could go with a system that's 3 times more powerful than the PS4 is currently. So maybe about 5 teraflops of computing performance. You might say, well, that's not going to be possible. It is. The Polaris architecture in the Neo is about 40 flops, actually over 40 flops. So given another 12 months for them to further improve things, for them to get, I guess you could say, better at manufacturing at 14nm, and for them to reduce the pricing, and for Microsoft to basically make some decisions regarding the extra components. They could decide to go with Zen, for example. There are a hell of a lot of options coming up from AMD alone. It's not too difficult for them to put out a system conceivably that's 2.5 to 3 times the performance, and that could be an upgradable system. Another possibility is that they're going to have just an upgradable system as a whole, but Microsoft have kind of said that they don't want to do that. They don't want you to be able to just put in a new GPU, but the line of saying, well, they're testing components which would typically upgrade a PC gaming rig, those are basically graphics cards, right? I mean, what do you normally do when you're upgrading your PC? Come on, everyone follow along with me. Unless your CPU is really bad, the main thing you're going to upgrade is your GPU, right? So you're going to put in the latest and greatest GPU, assuming that your CPU is really bad, you're going to put in a new CPU, and you're going to put in more memory. Those are the big ones. I mean, the other option, I suppose, technically is an SSD, but most folks, you're going to go with GPU, CPU, RAM. It's just how it is. So, I'm assuming right now, and there's a true story, that when Microsoft were putting together the original Xbox, not the Xbox One, the original Xbox, back in the day, they quite literally were taking apart laptops and other components and they were just pretty much sticking them together to see what they could do. They obviously had a certain power envelope they had to adhere to, they had a certain price/budget they had to adhere to with each box. After all, there's no point putting together a system that's going to cost the end user £2,000 because who the hell's going to buy it? And they also had to make sure that the parts were readily available, and that's why they ended up going with the parts they did. And the original Xbox turned into an absolute monster. I've mentioned this a couple of times. The GPU inside of it was absolutely monstrous. It was so powerful. It was actually equal to the GPUs that were available at the time for the PC. And I'm not talking about the mid-range or anything like that. I'm talking about the very high-end cards. At the time, the original Xbox's GPU was a monster. It had some memory bandwidth problems, but by God, the GPU was monstrous. Anyway, getting slightly off topic here. So, yeah, we don't know. I mean, there could be Microsoft deciding, hey, we're just going to fully embrace the Windows model. We're going to allow virtual reality displays to work. For example, you could plug in your VR, your Oculus Rift or whatever. You could run 4K games. You could maybe... I don't think this is going to happen. A dream would be that you could even install Steam or run other applications on the system. And it's potentially possible because we know that Microsoft are pushing towards the box is just a platform to enjoy Windows applications, right? UWA. And that would be kind of cool. They're trying to unify the development. And we already know, of course, they've already made it so the Xbox One can be turned into a developmental machine. We've covered that already. You basically just install some software onto your Xbox, you install some software onto your PC, and you pretty much can develop applications on the game, and then you submit that software to Microsoft for them to say, yeah, okay, this is not a virus, okay, this is not stealing people's credit card information, and it doesn't crash the Xbox, that type of stuff, and you can basically start making equivalents of games or other applications for the system. You don't have full access to all of the available resources, but you can still do that, and it's really cool, and Microsoft want to obviously push that out. It's going to be kind of weird. Let me know what your thoughts are on this one. What would you like to see for the upgraded Xbox? And I don't just necessarily mean power here. Like, what would you like to see? Obviously, full backwards compatibility with the current Xbox One is pretty much a given. I think we can all get behind that. But what else would you like to see? Would you like to see, let's say, a difference in the controller? Would you like to see support for other applications? Would you like to see support for virtual reality displays, or doesn't that really interest you? Let me know your thoughts on this one. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.